I decided it is time for me to take back my office. So a few weeks ago I was at Hobby Lobby and I had a 40% off coupon and $4.99 minus 40, pretty darn good deal. Now I will link some of the products I use down below, so if you're looking to start your storage the way I am, by all means I will link that down below for you. So what I'm going to do is a couple of things. I want to be crafty and organize my space. I really enjoy using my brother's Scan and Cut, so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to start off by just putting some vinyl up on the top of it just to label it. Again, could I use stickers? Could I use whatever? Sure, but I thought, you know what? Let's use the vinyl. I went on to Microsoft Word and I just printed out the words die cuts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan that in and make it an actual cut. So if you've never used a Brother Scan and Cut before or never done this, think of it like you are creating the cut line or the die cut, if you will. You basically scan in the image and then you go ahead and actually cut it out. So the first thing you need to do is you need to scan in the image. So think about it like you're going to scan it in. And we're going to scan it to a file, and the print that I did is black and white, so we're going to adjust it. Then we're going to start by scanning it in. And you can see what it's doing is just running it through the Brother Scan and Cut scanner, and it is recognizing an image that I am scanning. Once it does that, it is going to come back and show me what it found. So it usually takes just a few moments, and once it comes back, we're going to go ahead and we will choose what we want to cut. Now obviously the goal is to cut out the lettering, so that's what we're going to be choosing. From here, I'm going to go ahead and choose that I wanted to do the outline, and you want to do the one where it will actually cut out the inside of the letter D. And then I'm going to close in the crop, if you will, of what I want to go ahead and cut out. And I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it to my machine so that it now becomes a die cut that I can use at any time. So I'm going to leave this and I'm going to go to Pattern, Saved Data, click on my printer, and then what I'm going to, let me do it one more time so you can see. Now, if I wanted to put something else in the background, it does have a lot of defaulted templates, so let's just see what they've got. Very cute shapes. I know I want to add more than just the wording, but I might use one that I've already scanned in because I don't want like a random football or something on there. I do like some of the sewing stuff, that's fun. So maybe I can clean up my sewing stuff and use it for that as well. Oh, these are really pretty. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to our saved one. So we're going to go back and I'm going to go to this sixth one because I know it was the last one I did. And there it is. Hit OK. Now right now each letter is individual. If I want them to stay together, I click that little 3 and then I click right there where they're going to see how they join all together. Then down here where it's red, I'm going to click that, and what it will do is say, do you want to merge it into one pattern piece? So now instead of moving each letter, I am going to be moving them as a solid design. There are a lot of times when that's really important. It took me a while to figure that process out. I kid you not, I've had the Brother Scan and Cut for now a little over 2 years, and it's something I recently just figured out. So I always try to share that information. Now we're going to go ahead and put a piece of vinyl in and cut it. But you can see I have a pattern already cut on that vinyl, and I don't want to try and cut it on the same piece or cut over it so we end up with weird marks. So what I want to do is scan in the actual piece of vinyl. Now it could be paper, it could be whatever, and you can see it shows me where it is. So now I can go ahead and I can actually adjust where I want that to cut. So do I want it off on the far bottom, on the right, on the left? So this really helps you maintain and salvage as many pieces of paper, vinyl, etc. as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and just slide that right underneath the cut that I already did, hit cut and start. Now I want to make sure that everything is really good and pressed down. This mat is an older one, so you'll notice I do use a couple of little pieces of tape just to assist in holding the mat down. And now we're going to go ahead and let it cut. Now we're going to use a piece of transfer paper, and we are going to try and pick this up because we don't want the letters to slide all over the place. So we're going to go ahead and just sort of have the little squeegee. Here it comes, and we're going to push on that just to make sure it's sticking to the transfer paper. Once we have it thoroughly on the transfer paper, we're going to go ahead and just peel it right up off of the cutting mat. Sometimes when you peel it off a mat that maybe isn't as sticky as it once was, you may have to go in and actually hand peel off the backing, but that's not a big deal because they're already stuck to the transfer paper, so you don't have to worry about it shifting. Now I'm going to use my ruler, so I put it 1 inch from the bottom of that beveled edge, and we're going to go ahead and try and center it up. Just die cuts. There it is. Boom. Commit, and we are in. Again, I'm going to take that little pink squeegee, and we're going to go ahead and just rub that on to make sure that all the pieces are adhered really well to the little box. Then we will peel away the transfer paper, and you can see the vinyl has adhered to the plastic container, and that looks so cute. And what I think I'm going to do next is actually go ahead and just cut out a quick little Mickey that I'm just going to put up on the top, because I feel like it just needs something a little bit more. Now, I already had the Mickey shape that I wanted saved in my Brother Scan and Cut because I've done a bunch of other projects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out of black vinyl, I think. I already have a piece. Again, I've used it quite a bit, so you need to make sure you scan it so that you don't overlap your shapes. And this mat, it is an older mat, so I'm just going to toss in a little bit of this tape that I've had for pretty much ever. I'll be really sad when it's gone. But I'm going to go ahead and toss that on there just to kind of secure it. I want to make sure that nothing's going to move. And you can see that little Mickey head right there. It looks so cute. It is perfect sized. And I'm just going to go ahead and slide the Brother Scan and Cut over out of our way. And then you can see there it is. Ta-da! Perfect. So again, when you're organizing your space for your craft room, make it something that you would care to see all the time. You don't have to put in a certain font just because that's what, everybody else is doing. Pick your favorite fonts. If you want something nice and bold so it's quick to see when you're working, then do it that way. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It truly is whatever is going to be organized for you. And my desk has space up in these There's like 2 little cabinets, and my goal is to find some more of these to be able to organize maybe some of my random sprinkles, or I've got glue and scissors and some other pieces, maybe some ink pads. That would be really helpful. And I think I'll just go ahead and do this same super easy process. Alright, now that we have the beautiful little box ready to go, the next step is to actually go ahead and start filling it with all of our die cuts. So I have a ton of them. They're all in different packaging. Some of them are a mess. It drives me absolutely crazy because when I go to look for one, I can never find it. And again, this isn't something that happens overnight. It's happened over the course of time. You know, I would just get die cuts and put them in baggies and move them around, and that's the reason that I'm organizing this. And I have a ton of cat scrappiness, and I love all of them, and I want to make sure that I keep them organized because I don't want them wrecked. And I also want to make sure that if I'm working on a project, I can easily find them. Now, what I decided to do is each one's going to go, or each set is going to go into its own baggie. Now, there are times when I have a bunch of random loose ones, and I think I'm going to tag them as, for now, random loose ones. There are ones where I've had, you know, pieces, and I'm like, I have had them for so long, I don't even know the name of the company anymore, so I unfortunately have to go and look those up when they come through. But not a big deal. It's all salvageable, all fixable. But I figure for now what I'm going to do is go with the ones that I know that are all still in their packaging or semi in their packaging, organize those, and I'm going to label them. Now, I don't have a label maker. So what I decided to do is I just went ahead and printed them off like on a sheet of paper, and then I'm going to cut them with the paper cutter, and then I'm going to go ahead and just use a piece of tape and kind of label each one. I think keeping them very organized and labeled as to what they are will definitely help you keep them organized and keep them nice. You know, they're a big investment, they cost some money. And I think it's really important to keep them as nice as possible. So the set that I'm showing, this is a cat scrappiness set, and this one she calls the Essentials. And I'll be really honest, if you are starting out in die cutting, it is the best set to get because you get a little bit of everything. You know, until you know what you're really looking for or what you really like to use for your card making, it's good to find something that really gives you a little bit of everything. And one of the things that I always try to design by when I'm working on my stamp company stamps, or if I'm working on projects or things I choose to purchase, I always try to think, can I think of at least 5 or 6 cards or projects that I could use the stamp, crafting item, or whatever for? And if I can, then I'm willing to purchase. So that's just my rule of thumb. You know, it's not just something you have to follow, but you can see here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that little tag. And look at how pretty that is. And I picked a font that was very simplistic, easy to read, and that I would be able to quickly at a glance know what it is. Not to mention, if I'm working on stuff and I want to make sure that I can list what the stamp company is, it's important to make sure you label all of your products. So that's how it's going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get some tape and I'm going to tape all this up. And then, and again, I'm just using packaging tape because it's what I have. Now, if you wanted to laminate this, you could do that. If you wanted to go in and, you know, if you had a label maker, that would be easier. But I feel like right now in the process I'm in, I've already got a lot of money invested into a lot of other things. And I really don't want to spend more money on a label maker when I could do it old school and it will look just fine. You know, the goal truly is just to get them organized together and just not destroyed. You know, like I said, they're a big investment and you don't want to waste that. So now that I've got the first one set, let's go ahead and put all the rest of them together. Now, some of them were random ones that I got from magazines and other places, so I put those together in sort of a random bag. But again, I can see everything that I have organized in here. They're much more together. Like, I can just visually see what I have available. Well, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this got you kind of excited about organizing your die cuts. And don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. This is a brand new channel. It's part of JustgaLynnaOriginal.com called ArtistryInCards. I look forward to posting more material and sharing with you, so I would appreciate it if you would do that. And then go ahead and like this video.